What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the All Things Nerdy podcast with Nate and Joe. I'm Nate. That's Joe. Today we're going to be talking about superheroes from movies to comics to I'm sure we'll get into some 1v1 fighting shenanigans, who wins, who beats who, and things like that. Although a lot of that is subjective, and depending on the comic art or which version of what you're getting, right? And then it also depends on movie versus com. Doesn't matter. Anyways, we'll get into it. But that's really about it, Joe.
Yep. So, what I gonna start with what I've been doing for the past few weeks. Nate, tell us where you're at.
I'm in the Dolomites of Italy in a small little village town in the mountains called like St. Christine or something like that. And it's awesome today. My wife and I, we hiked to the top of a mountain and it was exhausting, but the views were amazing. I posted them on my Instagram, Nate the World Walker. And I do have a TikTok, although it's new and I only have like 3 followers on there. But like I might post it on there too. And that also leads us to a couple updates. Go follow us on our All Things Nerdy PCast TikTok. It's pretty solid. It's nice right now. Also, me, Joe, and 2 of our former guests are looking at doing a very special episode outside of our normal time frame to do like a longer extended like anime ranking, which is going to be all our opinions and like talk through them and why we're ranking them and things like that. And we're trying to get a date set in stone to do something like that, but that's going to be something fun to look out for and things coming up. And then another thing that we've started to do now that kind of our base is growing and stuff is we've started putting all of our future guests on LinkedIn. So if you go to LinkedIn, go to our All Things Nerdy podcast LinkedIn page, you can see the upcoming guests, their topics, what we're going to be talking about, and things like that. And now because we switch topics all the time, we know it's kind of hit or miss. Do you jump in? Do you not jump in? Things like that. This will allow you to see ahead of time. This is a podcast we want to listen to. This is one we don't really care about, so on and so forth.
All right, that was a lot, but without further ado, Nate, let's talk nerdy.
Let's talk nerdy, man. It's gonna be a good time. And this is a good subject, something that is touched on every freaking episode.
I hope Steven joins. But Steven he commented when we posted what the topic was going to be. And he actually veered off of the normal like Batman versus Superman and asked, who do you think would win between Batman and Iron Man? I was like, I mean, that's almost the same person when you think about it. Like superhero versus superhero, rich guy with, cool gadgets.
Yeah. So, I mean, so context matters, right? Like where they're at and things like that. Like, let's, for example, right, like in a vacuum, say you put them in a boxing ring, right? Batman wins. Say you put them in a suit build off, Tony Stark wins, because Batman doesn't build his own suits and stuff like that. So like but in just a straight up fight, I mean, it's gotta be Batman. Like Tony Stark, he relies way too much on like his technology. Batman has his technology, has his gadgets, but can get in close and just whoop him.
Yeah, I mean, Batman is a true martial artist, and Tony
100%.
Stark really, I mean, honestly, can't really fight as we saw in the boxing ring in one of the movies. We do got a comment from Adam, says Michelle, Nathan Walker, Stephanie Leon, glad y'all are having a great time. Yeah.
Marshman, I miss you, buddy. I think we're going to be coming back to the States sooner than expected. So you'll probably be getting some text from me sooner than I thought it would be. But that's later discussion. But we miss you too, man. Appreciate you jumping in. So Joe, let's do this. Let's talk about like who's your favorite superhero. Let's get our biases out of the way because that's going to play a big factor in this whole podcast. So let's go ahead, name who our favorite is because like realistically it's going to be hard for me to put anybody over my favorite and stuff like that. Joe, who's your favorite?
Yeah, that's so hard. I mean, like even when we worked together in office, like I would do this guy's voice all the time. Right? Like Batman is very far up there for me. But I don't know if I would say like absolute favorite, but like Batman, let's see, maybe Captain America just for kind of what he stands for, not necessarily like the powers and stuff. Come on, man. Don't be dissing my. This is my favorites, not your favorites,
I
Nate.
know it's
Um,
just it's upsetting to hear.
we do get a comment from Steven says Wolverine. Wolverine. See, it's so hard to pick a favorite because then like you forget people, and someone will say Wolverine. I'm like, oh yeah, Wolverine is really awesome. Like,
Yeah.
I like all the superheroes, man. What about you?
Oh, I mean, Batman. Everybody knows that.
Batman.
Batman is hands down my favorite. Love it. Things like that. I even like the movies. I think the Dark Knight trilogy is the best of the
Mm.
movies, but
Yes, Christian
whatever.
Bale. Mm.
Yeah. But I love the movies. From an animated standpoint, what is it, The Killing Joke or something like that? Batman: The Killing Joke, probably one of the better animated Batman movies, and things like that. From Marvel, I'd probably have to go like I love Spider Man. Now I'm gonna go old school. I like Tobey Maguire Spider Man, Andrew Garfield Spider Man. Tom Holland is cool. Like his Spider Man's neat, but I probably prefer like the old school Spider
You
Man
like the
days.
you like the emo Spider Man. That's what it is.
Yeah,
He was like
a hundred
walking around
percent.
that movie and just like doing the dance. Let's see, Adam's with me. You can't pick just one. Like there's so many. You just can't pick one. But can you do this? Marvel versus DC. Who is your favorite? I know that's a loaded question. There's a lot of factors. Take your politician hat off and just pick one.
Okay, so there's layers here. Okay, from cartoons, DC, no question. Animated movies, DC, no questions. Live action movies, Marvel, no questions. Comic standpoint, I think I prefer DC to Marvel. I think DC has a lot of like darker, just I don't want to say more adult driven, but just like a darker side to the comics than what a lot of Marvel has. But that's my take. What about you, Joe?
I'm not a very big comic reader, so I can't weigh in too much on that. Um, Animated shows when I was younger, definitely DC won out on those. Um, as far as movies, like I feel like Marvel just always makes a better movie than DC. Um, and I googled something just to see. I was like, box office sales DC versus Marvel. So since the year 2000, DC has done around 500 million per movie compared to Marvel's 687 million per movie, which I mean, it's not that big of a gap, but still 187 average per movie. That's still pretty big. So, at least I
Yeah,
think.
I mean, Marvel was so good, right? Like let's go back. The original Iron Man, the original Ant-Man, all those like just so good. Like you could tell where their focus was. It was about telling a story, relating you to the person behind, the abilities and stuff like that, where they're coming from, their struggles. Even like the original Thor wasn't great. The second Thor was solid. Ragnarok was really good. I think Ragnarok is where things started to go south, but no, doesn't matter. But anyways,
I
but
like
then
Love
like,
and Thunder, Nate.
huh?
I said I like Love and Thunder, Nate.
You have terrible taste in movies, Joe. That was a god awful movie. Like it should have just never been made. Ooh.
Cool. Okay. We did got a question coming in. Not to veer us off topic, but Adam says 90s X-Men versus animated Batman. Who y'all got?
Oh,
Oh,
that one hit me right in the heart.
yeah, that
I
one's.
you know,
Can we say both?
I I'm
Is that
mentally
not?
prepared for a lot of questions that might come my way. That was not one of them. Holy crap, that's a tough one. Great question, Marshman.
Yeah.
Um, I have always loved the X-Men, but
Yeah.
Batman being my favorite, it's hard to go against it. I'm gonna go Batman, which is a cop out for me, and I love both.
I'm going X-Men just because there are more characters, more powers, like just a lot more involved with it, just being specifically focused on one person and one person's background. So a more diverse show.
Who's your favorite X-Man, Joe?
Hold on, let me pull up this right here. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's not
Okay.
Wolverine. He is really awesome, but I've always been pulled to Cyclops. Maybe it's the Vision thing. But
I feel like you like really boring characters. Captain
yeah,
America, Cyclops.
I'm just boring, man. I'm sorry. I like the was it Beast, the one that always goes around and like looks like the kind of the beast
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah. Man, for me, X-Men wise, I absolutely so Gambit's my favorite. Like it's not even close. I love Gambit. It is by far and away like it's Gambit and then the rest of the X-Men. And like the next closest one is Nightcrawler. I love Nightcrawler. That dude is amazing. I don't know if anybody remembers like that old school, like arcade style, like video game. Bro, I picked Nightcrawler, start teleporting and just like murdering people. It was amazing. It was so
Like
good.
cheat code. Oh, okay. Steven has one. Wolverine or Sabretooth?
Okay, this is one where it matters. Are we talking comics? Are we talking animated? Are we talking live action? Live action, going Wolverine. You know what? Actually, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go Wolverine.
Yeah, Wolverine, hands down.
I think in
And
the comics, Sabretooth is kind of awesome. He's got some really cool things in the comics, but still, Wolverine is just
the Steven says, still mad that they never made the Gambit movie. Still mad.
yes. So I was too, but like I was reading reports like Channing Tatum, right? And then they were talking it was going to be more of a love story than like an action thing, which he is, you know, a very like what's the word? Like he's smooth with the ladies and things like that. So like I can get how we get there, but like we don't need like a romance Gambit movie. We want like action Gambit, you know, like. But yeah, I was upset about it too.
Yeah. So on the like kind of coming back to movies, what do you think is like your favorite movie, superhero movie that was released last year, like in 2022?
Oh gosh, I'd have to look up what that list is.
Or just recently?
So so it's probably not going to be a fan favorite, but I actually really enjoyed the Shazams. I think you know they're lighthearted, they're kind of fun. Um, I don't know. I enjoyed the Shazams. I thought they were well done. Black Adam, I liked kind of the darkness of it, right? But
Yeah.
man, some of the acting was terrible. Like I don't know who's watched it, but if you go back and you see the kid like trying to like rally the troops at the end and stuff, like that is the most flat, like hype speech I've ever heard. And then he gets on his little skateboard, like it looks like the dude's never boarded a day in his life, right? It overall like Black Adam solid movie, but there were some parts where I was like, geez, that is bad.
Yeah, I enjoyed Black Adam, but I think I don't know if a lot of people saw this. I don't know how like popular it was, but I think one of the best superhero movies like that I watched last year was called Samaritan. It's with Sylvester Stallone. Have you seen that one?
I have not. Is that a superhero movie? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a superhero movie. So kind of the premise is like this old like hermit guy is like living in an apartment across from this little kid who like believes that he's the superhero that supposedly died like 25 years ago or something like that in like the epic battle with his arch nemesis. But he doesn't think he died. He thinks his neighbor's him. And I mean that's kind of the whole like setup of the movie. Then of course crime starts to go on the rise, that kind of stuff, and then I don't want to give away any spoilers, but I would say it's definitely worth a watch. I mean, Sylvester Stallone's a pretty good action guy in the movies that I've seen him in anyway. But
Dude's
and
like
that's why,
70 these days.
yeah,
Like
and that's why I had to. I was like, Sylvester Stallone's a superhero now. Like, hold on, let me go see this. But I actually liked the movie; it was really good. There were some like spots where you're like, all right, your acting is not great, but other than that, like it was really good. I would say
yeah.
worth a
I
watch.
will say, I will say, from a superhero standpoint, one that I was very pleasantly surprised about that I did not that I wasn't overly hyped about. Robert Pattinson as Batman, I actually thought was pretty solid, and I know it wasn't the action that everybody was hoping for, but it was kind of dark. It showed like him losing his family, what he was going through, kind of being a recluse, and like I was hoping there was going to be another one with him taking the step into it, right? But I actually really enjoyed that one.
Yeah. I mean, it was a lot slower than I was expecting, for sure. Um, but I mean, I liked it. I thought Robert Pattinson did a good job. I think they tried to take it like kind of how that new Joker went, but didn't quite hit that good of a mark. But it was still good for what it was.
I don't really like. Joaquin Phoenix was fantastic in that, but I think the name Joker and what they built off of was like a just a massive PR grab to bring in people because you knew it was like part of the height, like kind of the fall off of the superhero films being like, unstoppable. They're too big to fail, right, and stuff like that. And then you go watch it, and like he is clearly like mentally like challenged, like not challenged, but like being challenged. Like he's going through a lot, like depression, like having psychotic craziness and stuff like that. But to name it Joker, like it didn't fit. Like for me, I still really enjoyed it, but I think they should just named it something else. And I know, like also at the end they showed like Bruce Wayne and stuff like that. But like Bruce Wayne was a kid, but Joker's already like in his 40s, and I'm just like, well, it makes no sense, like whatever.
Leave it to Nate to pick apart a perfectly good movie, but we got
I mean, it was good. It was good.
we got a comment from Keaton here. So Spider-Man is your favorite Marvel character. That's definitely centered at Nate there. How did you like Into the Spider-Verse?
Next question. No. Okay. So look. My guy
He's been
Keaton.
busy. Keaton. He's been a little.
My
busy.
guy Keaton told me to go watch the Spider-Verse. And I only went to the movies one time on my road trip and my travels and stuff like that. And it was to go with my buddy Marchman and Kofer to go watch Flash. Surprisingly, a decent movie, although it got absolutely destroyed by the critics and stuff. I thought it was decent. So I have not watched it yet, but I do need to watch it. I need to pull it up on my phone and watch it. I wonder if there's something you can do because supposedly like different theaters got different versions of it. I wonder if there is something like that is put together already where you can watch like all the different versions at once, right? Like it'll tell you like this is this version, and then like you can like click over to another version or something. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I still have to watch the first one before I can watch the second one.
The first one was so good, and I'm sure this one was fantastic. So
let's see. We got a comment from Steven says Robert Pattinson is the dude from Twilight. Is Cedric Diggory? Y'all see this rabbit hole video yet? I haven't seen the rabbit hole video, but yeah, he is the guy from Twilight and Harry Potter. So I have not seen the rabbit hole video. I have to look.
I'm glad you knew. I'm glad you knew who Cedric Diggory was because like I don't know who that is.
Stephanie would be ashamed of you.
Yeah, she would. She would be really sad at me. But yeah, the dude from Twilight. I don't know why I know that, not who Cedric Diggory is, but I know he's from Twilight. Yeah.
Oh man, another movie that I don't know if it did too well in the box office, but I enjoyed it. Although you've already told me I had bad taste in movies. Morbius. How did you like that one?
So Morbius was a little different, and so Sony is trying to match and replicate what Marvel has done and create like a Sonyverse, but like they're bringing in you have Venom and Morbius and all those things, and I think if they do it well, it could be fun. But the problem that they're going to run into is that they are leasing Spider-Man out to Disney, Marvel, and all of those, but they won't Spider-Man to come into the Sonyverse, which is why actually like I don't know if everybody remembers like Marvel almost had to remove like Spider-Man from some of the like Avengers, not like the early ones, like not backtrack, not retroactive, but moving forward like for contract purposes because Sony was considering not releasing Spider-Man to Marvel so they could bring him into the Sonyverse with Venom. But I think Tom Holland said that if they did that, he wasn't going to remain Spider-Man or something. Like I think he kind of strong armed him, which I mean, good for him, you know.
We kept it alive. Steve says they're saying it's the same person, referring to the Robert Pattinson. I don't see how that works because how do you go from being like a vampire to a wizard to Batman? But I'll definitely have to look the video up just to see like how they explain this one.
Yeah, that feels like a reach. A vampire who glitters has turned into, Bruce Wayne, whose parents were killed. But, if you base it off like Robert Pattinson's Batman and Joaquin Phoenix's, Joker, maybe ages faster or something to make that scene make more sense. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
But Morbius was decent. It was all right.
Yeah, I liked it. It was really cool. The kind of vampire-esque stuff intrigued me. So What about the Incredibles? Let's take it Disney. I mean, it's still superheroes, right? What did you think of the Incredibles?
Uh, Mama Incredible is amazing. I love that woman. So I mean,
The
that's all I
Incredibles.
know. That's all I know. That's all I got.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, we gotta gotta come in from Keaton. If you could have one Marvel or I guess probably DC character that doesn't have their own movie or show yet, who would you wave to have one or want to have one?
Yeah. For me, it'd be Gambit. I mean, hands down, Gambit.
I'm trying to think. I don't know, like to have their own movie or show. I mean, yours was easy. Like we talked about
Yeah.
it already, right? If it
Yeah.
wasn't Gambit, who was it? Who would it be?
Okay, if
Who
it
would
wasn't Gambit, okay, I'll think on that. If it wasn't Gambit, oh, that'd be tough. Oh, Red Hood.
Red Hood? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I have to think on that one more. We got some
No,
more
just Red
comments coming in. Yep.
Red Hood is the correct answer.
Red Hood is the correct answer. Stephanie says Big Hero 6 was one of my favorites. I can agree. I like Big
I don't
Hero 6. That counts as a superhero, even this little robot.
I don't know what that is.
But the big like inflatable goes blah la 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 la. You haven't seen that?
No.
Okay.
Maybe
Okay. Well,
maybe I got bad taste in movies.
what is it like a Disney children's movie? It's about
Uh,
it's not your speed. And then we got Steven says Baby Jack Jack could take Batman. I agree.
First off, Baby Jack Jack is a bad mother effer. Okay, Baby Jack Jack, like once he learns how to control all his stuff, that dude, he's a menace to society.
Oh, we got Keaton says where does The Boys rank all time in superhero shows, live action or animated?
Ooh,
Dude,
that's a good question.
I will say the opener, uh, like that catches your attention immediately with like how they open the show. I haven't seen season 2 yet, but like the first season was pretty good.
So The Boys is fantastic. 10 out of 10. Recommend. They get a little wild and crazy, but it's still so good. And honestly, it is what it would be like if superheroes were real, right? Like that they would be used for money and it would be business and it would be all those things. So
There'd be
that is what it would
accidents.
be. If I had to rank it, which this is where it gets tough, live action or animated, do you want like I mean from a show perspective, I would probably say top five, maybe top three, maybe top three. Because I don't know how like specific we want to get like the amazing Spider-Man or like like Batman Beyond. Like how does that just like is that just Batman or like how far into that we want to go? But I would say probably top three for me. I love The Boys. I think it's so good.
Yeah, it. I like the aspect of like this is what it would be like real life. Like again, especially with the opening, like what the accident that happens like right at the beginning. It's like that was I instantly knew it was like, yep, I'm watching this entire show now. This was really
Bro,
good.
wait till you get to well, I don't know why you haven't watched the opening of season 2 yet, but as some crazy stuff. I don't know. Their writers sitting down being like, "Man, let's do this." Like I feel like it's a good way to grab their attention. Like their writers are on a different level. They're crazy.
Have you seen Titans yet? It's kind of similar to like it's like a more real life version also on HBO.
Yeah, the live action Titans.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. I wish they would have went like a much darker path with it and stuff. But I thought it was pretty good. Trigon was cool. Beast Boy is cool. Like it's just normal Titans, but live action. Even the animated version, like what is it, Kid Titans or Teen Titans or
Yeah,
whatever,
Teen
it's still
Titans.
solid. Yeah, it's still really good if you watch some of it.
Yeah, I like the. I mean, yeah, it could have went a little darker as far as like just the aspects of the show, but it was very it had that gore factor to it, like with the fight scenes and stuff like that. So, but I thought it was pretty good. And then one other movie like I don't think was like mainstream that I wanted to ask you about is they made a Thor movie, but it was called Mortal, and it was like another kind of like almost like if Thor actually came, like if it actually happened in the real world kind of thing. Have you seen that one?
Wait, what is it?
It's called Mortal, Mortal, and it's almost like if Thor would have happened like in real life, like a guy discovers he has like godlike powers, very similar to Thor's, and he's like arrested after a deadly incident, of course. So it's like almost like a real life what would happen if someone like Thor showed up on Earth.
I have not seen it, but I can tell you this, Joe. Not that you asked me, but I think it's a fun question, so I'm gonna answer it. Not that you asked, but whatever. If I was to have those type of superpowers, you know what I would do? I would just go out to the football field, become a millionaire, chill, go out there, win a few games, get a couple hundo mil, and then go back and live my life. Right? Like
Yeah,
just hand me the rock and watch me go.
yeah, but like in the aspect of like the Mortal movie and like he can't control it. Like he doesn't understand how to use the power. Like so, if that's you in real life, like you can't just go make millions of dollars playing football. Like you're gonna probably accidentally hurt people or hurt yourself, like that kind of stuff, because you don't know how to use these powers.
True, I guess. There was a Disney movie way back when. I'm trying to think what it was. Like the family got like magical powers, and there's also a show on ABC where the family had magical powers. I remember the kid, like he was a normal kid, and then he got some kind of like math, like numbers power. Next thing you know, he's like playing quarterback for the football team and like dropping dimes and stuff like that. So
Yeah. That's it's not really superhero, but like it's like Teen Wolf kind of happens where he's like he kind of sucks at lacrosse and then he gets bit by a werewolf and now he's like team captain kind of thing. He's like, yeah,
I mean,
I'm
it's the
using my
same with
powers.
the basketball one, like. Uh,
Figure those powers out and then make that money and then go home. So you get superhero powers. You wouldn't try to like be a superhero. You'd be like, nah, make my money and go home.
so I'm gonna say yeah for the one reason of that, like I don't think in our world today you could really be a superhero. I mean, I guess you could listen in a police scanner and go try to do some things. And I guess if you have the speed or the flight or whatever, you can get there fast enough. But a lot of times, unless you just like happenstance onto things, like maybe you are called, like you hear of bank robbery, but how often do bank robberies actually happen? And stuff like I just don't. I would, I'll just go get my bag and chill.
You'd have to be like a Batman. Like you protect one city. Like that's your place, right?
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, like, let's take New Orleans, right? Like, a
Yeah,
terrible crime rate. What am I going to do? Just like walk around Bourbon looking for pickpocketers, or waiting, for the police to, call over a scanner a week late that somebody had been shot? Like, it ain't like I'm going to just be like hovering over all of New Orleans, like waiting, like that's just not
no, you gotta
like,
like
oh,
Spider Man. You just
shots fired over on St. Charles, right? Like they're already fired. What do you want me to do?
look. You just use statistics to know where you should patrol, and then like the longer you're there, the more crime rate is going to drop. Like it's not going to be an overnight thing, but just people knowing that a superhero is there and is able to stop them. That's going to be a pretty big deterrent, I would think. Like they can get away
Man,
from the cops. They can't get away from somebody that can fly. Like I don't know.
I mean, yeah, but by the time you get there, they're already gone. So yeah, I'm just gonna go, make a couple hundo meal and then live my best life.
I mean, I would have to try to be a superhero. I was just, I don't know, but uh, you bring a lot of good arguments to the table of like why it's not going to work unless like you're this telepathic person that can just kind of sense danger and stuff. But
Yeah, like if you were like a mind reader and like you can like and you have all these other crazy abilities, but like say you can connect to a city and you can feel someone being scared or sense them like being worried or like in a moment, and then you can be there in a flash because like you also have the power of the flash. who is also criminally underrated in the DC, who is one of the more powerful people in DC, but whatever. You know, but like, so say you have this massive stack of crazy powers, right? And then maybe you could do it, but for the most part, you can't. That's not how it works, you know.
I love this one. Nate is going to be Hancock.
Was
that was
I
a
mean,
good movie. That was a good movie.
yeah, Hancock was great. I mean, like, I'm fine with that. I don't care. I just be chilling, living my best life.
Oh man,
Not a care in the world.
I know we're coming up on time, but I have one question before like we end up. At least that I want you to answer. If you could have one superpower, what would it be? Like you had to pick one superpower to get. What would
That's
it be?
easy. I have the same answer every time, and it's a cop out. And you can be like, okay, well, that doesn't count. So what else would you do? But I would be insanely smart, which would allow me to build, like Iron Man, a machine that allows me to do everything else. Right? That would be my power. I don't even care if my head had to be like this damn big. I don't care. That is what I would do. I would just be insanely smart and then build stuff that allows me to do. I want to fly. I'm gonna fly. I want to teleport. I'm gonna figure out a way to do it because I'm that damn smart. You know.
That is kind of a cheat. It's like one that doesn't necessarily have like too much of a drawback unless your head is giant, I guess, or like you have aneurysms because your brain is working too hard or something. Um, I think mine would be like flight, just because you can control it more. Like I don't like the idea of teleporting because you're gonna like end up, somewhere you don't mean to be, get hit by a bus or something. I feel like a lot of superpowers come with like really big drawbacks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could have just said the Sharon gun, and that basically does everything for fucking nothing, right?
Yeah,
It's
but then you're gonna
terrible.
go blind eventually, and you have to kill your best friend. So I mean, yeah,
That's fine. Give me your
that's fine.
eyes.
It's fine. Yeah, let's take somebody else's eyes when I'm done.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
but what about you, Joe? What would you do?
yeah, I mean, I'd probably choose flight. Yeah, I think
I think
just because I
okay,
hate driving.
to get away from the super intelligence, I think I would do probably I love the ability to like teleport. I think that's so cool. What was that movie like Jumper?
Yeah,
Like that would be like amazing, especially the way I love to travel. Like I'm looking at and planning a trip to like Japan, right? Like if I could just look at a picture of Tokyo, it'd be like, whoop! I bet
yeah.
that would be amazing. I would take that in a heartbeat, son.
But then you're in the middle of traffic in Tokyo and you get hit by a car. No, teleportation is bad. Like,
No,
there's just too many variables. You're going to end up in the middle of an ocean, or you gotta concentrate too hard on something specific. What if you're looking at an old picture and that's not even
and you end
there?
up in a wall. Yeah,
Yeah, you end up
you're
like
just stuck in a
literally
wall.
empty.
Yeah.
Like, come on,
I,
teleportation
I
is
get there's
awful.
some sus things about it, Joe. I get that some things could go wrong, but what if you're like flying and like I don't know, you hit like a drone? Who knows?
I
Like,
mean, that would inconvenience me for sure. It would hurt, but I wouldn't be dead stuck in a wall. Like, I don't know. Like, there's a lot less that could go wrong with me being able to kind of
I,
see ahead and that kind of stuff.
I like living on the edge, Joe. I want to be there fast, and I like the risk.
Right now,
Yeah.
YOLO, YOLO.
I mean, how fast can I fly? Are we talking like Superman speed where I can fly around the world fast enough to like turn back time? If that's the case, I'll take flying. But if we're talking like I'm flying normal, like, aircraft speed, just chilling, it's like 17 hours to get to Tokyo. Where if I could teleport, it's like 3 seconds. So it depends.
I mean, you can't have flight and like super strength. If you flew that fast, your body would like disintegrate, right? You have to fly a speed that will not hurt you.
Well, Joe, if we're getting into like the realism of things, right? Like, what about your oxygen levels while you're way up in the sky, just flying around all dilly dally,
I
right?
didn't
Like,
say I'd go way up in the sky. That's where
so
airplanes are up there,
you're flying like building level, like slow,
right
like.
above bearing level. That way, I'm not getting hit
So
by airplanes. I'm
you want
not
to
like
go
I'm
the
in a
same
safe area.
speed. You want to go the same speed as you would in a car. So what you want your superpower to be is just no traffic. That's what you want, Joe.
I'm fine with that. I hate traffic. no traffic. I can go in a straight line somewhere versus having to turn 8 times. That kind of thing.
Oh my gosh.
But
Well, Joe, you got anything else, man?
no, man. Again, go follow us on LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook. We got a YouTube up. Everything. We're constantly adding new things. Got
The
these cool
YouTube is a
shirts.
little outdated. We do have cool shirts. Great point. YouTube is a little outdated. That falls on me. My PC is back in the States and it has like all our thumbnails and that stuff. So I haven't been able to put things up. So that's on me. My bad. Sorry, guys. But yeah, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the good stuff. Sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
Thanks everyone for watching. Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, take care, y'all.